Welcome to the Gals Guide to the Galaxy podcast, where a group of gals gather for you one cool thing around our topic of the month. Is it ancient history? Is it breaking news? Is it safe for work? Well, that's up to each gal. All we know is that...
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Welcome back. I'm Lisa, and I'm joined by Leah, Barb, and Katie talking about our one cool Hamilton County gal. Leah talked about Lulu Missy, our library founder, and Barb talked about the talented Avril Scholl, the architect from Carmel. And we've had lots of interesting information about these gals. But before we dive back in, I want to know something random about our gal pals. My question for you, what is the weirdest thing you've seen in Hamilton County? And by weird, it doesn't necessarily mean awful, just unusual. Made you step back and think, or made you realize, I've never seen that before. What have you got, guys?
Right. I mean, I don't think Katie and I can talk about the Noblesville Puma, because I don't believe it actually happened.
That was the first thing that came into my
Noblesville Puma?
It's our urban legend. Every town needs one.
Right. This doesn't have to be your thing, but do you want to talk about the Noblesville Puma?
We have a Noblesville Puma.
We do not
know this.
I don't know it either.
There have been reportings of sightings of a black, large cat. So it is.
It's
the
like
Noblesville
one
Puma.
dude. It's like one dude.
No, I think you can look up Noblesville Puma
What?
and it's like a thing.
It became a thing?
I think it's a
You sure it's
urban
not
legend.
I thought it was
Just
one
stray
drunk
cat.
friend that we had that could have sworn there was
You
a
sure
Puma.
it's not one
Nice.
stray
Is it like-
cat?
Somebody posted a picture of a cricket on their window, and they took it thugh their windshield, and it made it look like the cricket was eating the town. Are you sure it wasn't
I
something
mean,
yeah.
weird like that?
I have no faith in it whatsoever
I've heard-
of the myth of Noblesville Puma.
I've heard
Yeah.
stories of people who go out of their house like at 2:00 in the morning and see coyotes walking downtown.
Yeah, no,
That's
those
normal.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, normal.
I think that's probably what I saw. I saw a big
You saw a cat-like
cat-like thing at
Well,
one
yes,
point.
exactly.
Okay, maybe I made that up, that it's like our urban legend, because I'm
Okay.
not finding anything.
Yeah,
when I
no,
Googled
I
it.
really thought it was
became
like
bigger in my mind.
just you, me, and one other dude who I do not know if I should mention or not.
Yeah.
David Highway, by the way, for those of you who don't know, is our county historian.
Mhm.
He said one time, I can't remember many specifics, but there was a story of a creature living in the White River.
Oh, I mean, that doesn't
Ooh.
surprise me.
A sea
I like
serpent
that.
kind of thing.
Gotcha. Yeah. So Nessie?
Yeah.
Nessie.
Our
Okay.
own Nessie.
Our own Nessie.
All right, so I will tell my weird story.
Okay, all right, sorry, go
Okay.
ahead.
And
Yeah.
this wasn't even my thing, but my husband and I take these country drives. So we live in Carmel, and just 5 minutes from the house, you're just out in farmland.
Yeah,
and,
Right.
we have this path that we traverse, and one time we're driving down this road that we've driven down hundreds of times, and we see this shadowy figure
Right.
kind of at dusk cross the road.
Mothman?
It's a Yeti.
It almost looked like Mothman. But it
Mothman's a
was
thing.
it was very
Yes.
thin and very leggy and very
Ooh.
army and kind of
It was Doug Jones.
but it was walked over. How tall is he?
He's like 1 billion feet tall. He's
Right.
like almost 7 foot. He's very
it
tall.
seemed like it was like 7 foot and it was bent over.
Uh-huh.
And to this day, I tell my husband it was a werewolf. And
Oh.
he doesn't really believe me
Right,
that it was
sure.
a
County
werewolf.
werewolf.
But
Yeah.
so maybe that's our legend.
I
that
like
there's
it.
a werewolf somewhere up
I'd
towards
say-
Zionsville.
Yeah, what is
The
Katie's
weirdest not fictional thing
Yes.
is the fact that
guess?
when Hamilton County police pull somebody over, especially if they're a person of color, they have to have, the support of 5 other police officers.
They're bored.
Yeah. Do we have all my full information on here? I don't want to start getting pulled over all the time.
I know, right? Exactly.
But
Yes, yeah.
Right.
I find that I'm always like, Hamilton County. And I think Noblesville smells bad a lot of the times. So when we drive into town and hit whatever bad smell is on
Right.
10th Street, I'm like,
Oh,
smells
yeah, the
like
sewer,
home.
Yeah.
But I
Nice.
still love it.
Nice.
It's that smell of home sweet home.
There you
So
go.
we pretend to
There you
love it.
go.
We're like, it smells terrible.
Just bring it in.
Yeah.
Bring it in.
That's really all I got.
I like it. Gosh, okay, my weird one. I feel like I have lots of them, but the one I'm going to go with is one of my more favorite stories to tell about making films here in Noblesville. So when you're a producer on any film, whether it's a short film, independent film, or studio film, you usually talk to the sheriff department of the city that you are filming in. And you usually let them know, hey, this is where we're going to be. If we're going to be outside or inside, this is how many people we have. In case there is a disturbance, in case anybody complains, the local authorities are aware. I did this so frequently that they just said, you don't have to call us every time you make a movie. So that's weird enough in itself. The second one is we were going to be filming on the courthouse square. We were going to be filming in the center of town. And I let them know of that, and they're like, yeah, no, okay, that's cool. Again, you don't have to call us every time you're filming. And I'm like, I'm going to be calling you tomorrow. So we're filming on the sidewalk. And that particular weekend, it was closed down because the train was going to come through, and it was the home tour. So the home tour usually has the train come up, and so they closed down a quarter of the street. When they close it down, it's very quiet, which is great for filming something. So we decide to move our little crew just one block over to film, and we're filming, and then the police officer shows up, and a lot of times the police cars will show up because, again, they're bored, and they just want to know what's going on, and they heard from, on the line that there was going to be a, film going on. So of course, the entire rest of the cast and crew freaks out, and they're like, oh my gosh, Leah, come on over. The police are here. You have to answer for us. And I'm like, it's fine. So I go over and I'm like, hey, how you doing? And he's like, why did you close down the street?
No.
And he's like, it's fine if you close down the street, but you just kind of have to tell us that you're going to close down the street.
Oh my gosh.
My first thought was, I have the power to close down the street?
Right?
My second thought was, no, there's a home tour. There's a train. Like, I didn't do this. We're just using this opportunity. But it has never left me that I have the ability to close down a street.
I'm liking that.
That's lovely.
So to me, that's weird and wonderful in this town. I'm
liking that.
If we ever do the
they were
puppy,
nice about it.
If we ever do the puppy parade,
Puppy
you
parade.
are going to use those powers
Absolutely.
to close down the
But
street.
did you actually? You can go online and pay $50
Yes.
to get a street closed down in
You can.
Noblesville.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Excellent.
if you live here.
They
You just
just-
fill out the little thing online. You're like, can you close the street for... I mean, I know there's a few other qualifications, but that cracked me up
It's
when I
not
realized
too hard
it.
to do
No.
it. It's
Right?
really
But I
kind
mean,
of
I
weirdly
know
wonderful. Yeah.
Lee could probably do it for free.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
You
I
do
just say,
have the
look,
power.
all
She's
I
an
have to do
entity.
is just put the cones up and be like,
Right.
closing
Yeah.
it down.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah.
All right, I'll do one more shameless plug.
Okay,
I
gotcha.
still love saying that Gal's Guide
Yes.
is the first women's history lending library, and it's located right here in Noblesville.
Isn't
know,
that
right?
weird?
It's weird,
I
and I
know.
love it.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
Mhm.
Who'd have thunk?
Who'd
I
have thought?
know,
I
right?
use that line as well.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. Exactly. My personal.
Yes, I was saying, what is yours?
My
Yes.
personal weird one is the duck race.
Oh my gosh, I love the
Love
duck
that.
race.
Love
For those
that.
of you who don't
Yes.
live here,
Uh-huh.
what one of our local organizations does is they sell. You buy a duck,
Yes.
a plastic little bathtub duck.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a
now
number.
put on Jeeps.
There's a number on it,
Mhm.
and they sell all these ducks, and they put them in a great big bin. Like this thing is the size
Of a truck.
A truck.
Yeah.
It's like a dump truck full of these ducks, and they dump them off of a bridge into the White River. And the first one to hit the finish line, the number on that one is the winner of the big prize.
Yes.
What's
And
the big prize?
It's different every year.
Is
it
Oh,
like
is it money
I
usually?
think it's usually money,
Oh,
isn't it?
I don't know.
I know it's been money.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
You
You've
get to
never
win the
won?
duck race.
Don't
You've
start
never
me.
won?
Don't start me on that rant.
Is it
Oh,
a conspiracy?
No, I am not going down that road. But off mic, I will start on my rant there. But it's just so cool to see all these little ducks bobbing along in the river.
They're so cute.
You watch them from the bridge, and then you have a party afterwards. They've got bands and stuff, and it's just a good
It's a
time.
big deal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I love that we have a street dance too.
Yes.
Those events
Oh,
are kind of
that's-
close
yeah.
together,
Yeah,
aren't
those
they?
are fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
In time. I've never been to it, but I love that we have one.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
I'm that person.
You're like,
I'm like, it's so
"Oh,
great
people."
we have.
Me too.
There's too many people.
I've
there.
been upset about that Mexican restaurant closing down on 10th Street and being bulldozed. I never ate there, but every time I passed it and saw people on the patio
I
with
heard it was really
margaritas,
good.
I'm like, that looks really nice. Maybe I'll do
Fabulous.
that someday.
Fabulous.
It was
and
one
now
of
it's
JC's
gone, and now
favorite
I'm
Now you
restaurants in
can't
town.
do it.
Yeah.
You can't do
Yeah.
it. You missed your
No.
opportunity.
Yeah.
It's gone now.
Yeah.
bypass progress.
Right.
All
Lisa,
right.
who do you have for
Well,
us?
ladies.
And we know, and we're so excited. Sorry, yes.
Because I just love doing these kinds of podcasts.
Yes.
Along the lines of well-behaved women seldom make history.
Yes.
Today, I am bringing you Helen Worley Cromell, otherwise known as Dirty Helen.
Dirty
Yay!
Helen!
I wish I
Yes.
had a Dirty Helen drink for this.
I know we had
Yeah,
a
they're
local
gone.
brewery that used to make beer called Dirty Helen.
One of my favorites.
Nice.
It was a brown ale. It was good.
Nice.
Yes.
Helen was was born in Hamilton County, and was quite the accomplished hooker. But she didn't
Accomplished
like,
and hooker. I don't know that
she
I've ever heard
didn't
those.
like that term, hooker. She liked
preferred-
professional bed partner.
Oh, I
Oh,
like it.
wow.
Yes.
I do too.
Mm.
So, just to give you some of Helen's better quotes, she described herself as the most stylish whore in the country. She had an impeccable
Yes,
style.
queen.
I'm getting this on a sticker.
And a world authority on position.
Oh!
I'm giving us lots of sticker opportunities,
This is-
aren't
yeah,
I?
these
So
are
good.
so
none
fun.
of these
Just
on
put
the
that one on a
beard.
badge.
Professional bed partner badges.
Oh my gosh,
I
yes.
love it. I
Anyway,
love it.
Uh-huh.
Just so you know, let's start it out early. Dirty Helen
Yeah.
referred to her mouth.
Oh.
She could string profanities together like nobody's business, and it was the name was given to her in Milwaukee, and she was in Milwaukee.
Okay.
They said she had the dirtiest mouth in Milwaukee. Anyway, Helen was born in 1886 in Cicero, Indiana, to a well-off family.
Ah.
Her father was a telegraph operator, which was
Oh, cool.
pretty
Okay.
big time.
Yeah, I was going to say,
Um,
and not many had that job.
Right.
At
And he
that
was
time.
at the Cicero train department, and he also had a farm. Cicero at that time was a very small farming community, and this was well
Yes.
before the reservoir that it is known for now.
Oh, okay.
Her mother was from the Joseph family in Noblesville, which owned the brewery, which was at
Oh.
6th and Connor, which is just a mere 4 blocks from here.
Yeah.
Look at
Yep.
that.
Mhm.
Nice. Okay.
She had many social connections in Indianapolis, and Helen often spoke that she was surprised her mother married her father and not some well-connected businessman.
Oh, okay.
Helen spent much of her time with her maternal grandparents in Noblesville while her father was training to become a telegraph operator. Her grandparents were Jewish and had fled Germany due to the persecution there and had landed here in Noblesville.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Her grandparents were well connected. They were friends of specifically the Levinson family
Yeah.
from Indianapolis.
Who were also Jewish. Yep.
Right?
Mhm.
The Levinsons made expensive hats and clothing.
Yes, they did.
Mr. Levinson bought Helen her first hat at age 6 and told her she should always wear stylish, expensive hats.
Oh, wow.
And that kind of bumped up her sense of style
Nice.
and her fondness for expensive clothing, which went throughout her life. Helen grew bored of small town life. She graduated, as one does. She graduated high school at 16 and fell in love with an undesirable young immigrant.
Love it.
At the time, there was a natural gas boom in central Indiana, and many immigrants came to work in the factories, which were a result of this gas boom.
Yep.
Her parents sent her away to live with her cousin's family for the summer in an attempt to break them up.
Romeo and Juliet style. No.
I know. It backfired because her cousin was quite promiscuous and helped shape Helen's attitudes about sex.
Oh my goodness.
That
That
made
just
it
goes to
worse.
show.
No.
Yeah, maybe sending him away for the summer is not such a good choice. Words to live by. Anyway, she returned from that summer and went to DePaul for a semester, but left to marry her boyfriend. This was 1903. They moved to Cincinnati,
Okay.
where he was a bar manager.
Okay.
At this time, she claims her father disowned her and sent her a letter calling her a wanton whore.
Dad.
Scandalo.
Oh my gosh.
However, David Highway
Yes.
says that he kind of questions that
Okay.
because he received reports of many family reunions that she attended.
Oh.
So he's not sure about that. And her book, which I had read, was her story given to a writer. So maybe the writer took some liberties with the story.
Or
Who
maybe she
knows?
took some liberties in telling them.
Maybe.
People do things.
Yes,
Yeah. Gotcha.
exactly.
Mhm.
Anyway, because her husband was a bar manager, he was out all night.
Mhm.
She got bored and started working at a clothing store that sold high-end clothing, but they were salesman samples, so they were at a much reduced price, which furthered her interest in fashion.
Nice.
She was very good salesperson, and she also expanded her
I don't even know what
wardrobe
to do with that.
considerably.
She had a good bedside
I don't
manner.
know what to do with
There we
that.
go.
Just gonna let that
There
slide.
we go. While she was pregnant with her second son, she discovered her beloved husband was cheating on her with a hooker.
How dare he?
I know. And at this point, she was a very traditional housewife.
Gotcha. Okay.
Except she worked outside the home, but she was a very traditional housewife.
Yeah.
She finally got so despondent that she went to the hooker's home, beat her up, and stole a big diamond ring that her husband had given her. She got her revenge.
Look at that. She had a cat fight.
Right.
But
her husband came and broke up the fight.
Oh!
He showed up at the girlfriend's apartment, found them, and broke up the fight.
Right.
She decided at that point she wasn't going to return to work after the birth of her second child because maybe the job was why her husband was stepping out on her.
Oh.
She was really
no.
trying.
Couldn't have been that hooker or like that he
His
had...
own poor
He was
choices.
exactly.
Yeah,
Or him.
exactly. Her self-confidence was really shattered.
Yeah, that's fair.
She dearly loved him and couldn't understand why it wasn't working. And he was just awful to her. He called her a slow country girl.
Oh.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
What a dog.
Right?
Well, yeah,
Exactly.
he married
love
her.
dogs,
He knew.
but-
Right, exactly.
Right,
But not this
right.
one.
Not
Well,
this
you know,
dog.
he came to the big city of Cincinnati, and now he was all
I'm from Cincinnati.
he
Cincinnati.
was all cool, and his girlfriend was all cool, and yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so she decided to go back to work eventually after the birth of her second son. A coworker invited her to a double date, and she decided to go.
Cool.
She bought a new suit and wore the diamond ring she took from her husband's mistress.
Love it.
I know.
Love it.
And then arranged for them all to go to the club where she knew her husband and his mistress would be.
Perfect. Even
Exactly.
better.
And she's
She's a little
wanted
spiteful thing.
I
I like
though.
it.
to the
Yeah.
hell out of it. Oh yeah, she was all over it.
It's a show.
And then what I suspect was do I have to watch my language?
No.
What I suspect was a revenge fuck.
There you
She
go.
went to bed with this guy that she had a double
Yes.
date with.
100%.
As she
Was he
leaving-
there? Sorry, I just...
No. And it was before video, so you know.
Ah, all right.
When she was leaving the next morning, she found $50 under her hat, and she decided
So
was
she took
taking
that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of money those days.
Right.
Absolutely,
She
it
was
was.
good.
She thought of her
Professional.
father's comment about being a wanton whore,
Right.
but she was feeling valued and appreciated
Mhm.
after 3 years of neglect from her husband. She's like, screw you, I'm out of here.
Exactly.
I'm
Yeah.
going to do what I'm going to do.
And I'm a freaking professional now because I just
Exactly.
got $50 in my bra. Yeah.
Exactly. She once told Al Capone that she was a different kind of prostitute because she's never been poor.
Uh-huh.
She had a good education and she enjoyed the work.
There's a lot to unpack in that sentence.
I
She
know.
told Al Capone.
Yeah,
Al Capone.
and I'll get to the Al Capone thing. In
I
a
started to say
little
we probably
bit.
need context
Right.
there.
I'm
Yeah,
loving
like some
all of that,
context.
though.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So after that brief fling with the double date, she started an affair with one of her husband's bar investors.
I feel like
she
she
was
is
just
her.
killing it.
sleeping around that circle.
Yes.
Look what you can't have.
He lavished her with jewels and gifts.
Nice.
But her husband still wouldn't give up the mistress, so she wanted out of the marriage.
Mhm.
Back then, the rule was if you were in a divorce with children, the boys would go to the father, the girls would go to the mother.
Okay.
She said, and I question this because she really wasn't much of a mother.
Right.
She said that she didn't want to give them up. And so what she decided she needed to do was to get lost. You know,
Oh,
go
okay.
somewhere where her husband wouldn't find her, and she took their younger son.
Oh, okay.
with
Gotcha.
her.
Right.
While she went off to Arizona,
Okay.
while she's in Arizona, shortly after she landed there, she met a notorious bank robber who was on the lam.
Ooh.
He had robbed a place in Chicago. Everybody was after him. And he was holing up in a fishing cabin
Okay.
up in the Colorado mountains.
And it's
It
not
was
Dillinger?
no.
Okay, all right, gotcha. You said Chicago, and I'm like, Dillinger?
It was
Okay.
I think his name was Eddie Meeks.
Okay.
But
gotcha.
that was not his real name. That was
Right,
the
right.
name he gave her.
Ooh.
Anyway, he invited her to keep him company in the cabin. And by company, this was all platonic
Okay.
because he loved his wife. But he would give her $6,000 and pay her son's boarding school. The tuition for her son's boarding school.
Okay.
And this was 1908 money.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Whoa.
So she did that.
I'm
Yeah.
going to do the research on that.
Uh-huh.
1908,
Yeah.
$6,000. How much is that?
That has to
So
be a lot.
she went ahead and did that. She said it was perfectly lovely, but it was boring and it was very primitive and it was very cold. And
Right.
It was kind of awful. So when she was finished with that, she decided she needed more of a
Something to do.
Lively.
activity, more
Someone to
lively.
do.
Yes, yeah. So she went to San Francisco.
Like you do.
Wise woman. So
Yes.
there she found a wealthy timber tycoon
Yeah.
and agreed to follow him to Canada.
Okay.
So really, she wasn't so much of a hooker as a kept woman.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
yeah.
A professional
You know?
bed partner.
I
Well,
was-
she
I
wasn't
was-
even a
she was-
professional bed partner to the first guy.
Right.
You said.
Just a
And I looked it up.
companion.
$6,000 in 1908.
Yeah.
It's almost $200,000 in
Whoa.
today's
Holy
dollars.
Wow.
cow.
That's incredible.
yeah. Yeah.
That is a couple years of a college scholarship.
Yeah.
I think. I think.
Wow. Yeah. She's almost like a professional consort. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
Like, to take care of whatever needs taken care of.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly. So she agreed to follow him to Canada. He gave her the impression they were going to Ontario.
Okay.
But no. She ended up in a logging camp called Medicine Hat.
Oh no.
Well, she likes
She's like,
hats,
"Get
though.
in the
There
middle
you
of
go.
nowhere. It was a trap.
It was a trap. It was a
She
trap.
was there with him for 3.5 years, but he paid
Oh.
her $1,000 a week.
Whoa.
And she
No
had nowhere
way.
to spend it. So
So she just kept it.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's a rainy day fund from
exactly.
hell. Yeah.
One
That's a
heck-
lot of money.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Because if the 6,000 was like 200,000
Right. So I'm
today,
going to do 1,000.
so it's 12,000 a year. This episode has turned into math. Who knew?
Who knew? Math.
1,000 in 1908 is worth $32,000 today.
Oh my
Holy
goodness.
cow.
She was
Wow.
hooking up with some
She's good.
wealthy men.
Yeah,
Mhm.
she found wealthy men.
Nice.
She
We all have a different set of skills.
there you go. She must have been bored out of her mind. I mean, think about it. She had all these beautiful clothes and all this and nowhere to go with it.
Right.
But like one idea she had towards the end of her time in Medicine Hat was that there was an army camp not far from there and this was during World War One.
Yes.
She
a
decided
whole
to
bunch of
go
boys?
entertain the troops.
Yes, queen.
That night, she came home with $750.
Yes, she did.
Mhm. Yeah. I thought, oh, wow.
Uh-huh.
So she, after 3.5 years, she's like, I'm out of Medicine Hat. She leaves with Donnie and her younger son.
Okay.
And then she started working in a high-end clothing shop in New York City.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she really liked New York
She
City.
was just-
And liked fashion.
Yes,
She really
I'm-
likes the fashion.
I'm
right?
loving this also,
So
this
not-
crisscross of map of where she's
Right.
going everywhere.
Right.
Yes, okay, yeah.
Girl got around.
Yeah, she did in more ways than one.
Anyway, she enlisted the doorman at her building to help her build clientele,
Ooh.
and he would bring clients to an apartment that she had rented elsewhere, and conduct business there.
Nice.
So,
her
and she
pimp,
cut him
then.
in. Yes, she cut
Or
him
escort,
in at a
male escort.
price. Yes, she gave him some money.
Nice.
Right. But while she was in New York, she fell in love with an injured veteran who was in town getting treatment. He had inhaled mustard gas.
Oof.
Oh.
She ended up marrying him and moving to his home in Chicago.
Okay.
Turns out he was from a wealthy family with connections to the mob in Chicago.
The Chicago
Who would've
Mafia. Is this where Al Capone comes in?
Yes.
Oh, look at that.
She was introduced to a lot of mob men, a lot of mob figures. Her husband later died 3 years after that.
Oh.
Gotcha.
She started seeing clients again after her husband's death.
Gotcha.
And in fact was shot in the leg by a jealous wife.
Oh my God.
Goodness.
And again, these clients were more like sugar daddies than
Yes.
Johns.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
good way of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Her relationship with Al Capone was that of like a trusted friend.
Okay.
They would see each other at social events, and Al trusted her. He had her go to one of his brothels one night and record the receipts because he thought the person who was running it was
cheating.
pocketing. Yeah. So they were trusted, and he even offered her to run one of his brothels.
Oh, hey.
She declined, but she said, well, that's not a bad idea.
Right. To run her own?
Yes.
There
But
it
she
is,
didn't
yes.
want to run afoul of the Chicago mob.
Yeah.
So
You would not.
No,
it's a
you
bad
don't do
idea.
that.
No,
That's
you
bad
don't do
business
that.
You sleep with the
practices.
fishes. That's
exactly.
what you do.
The Chicago River. And I just went on an Al Capone walking tour in Chicago a couple weeks ago. Yeah, a lot of people slept with the fishes.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So, he suggested that she go to Superior, Wisconsin.
Okay.
Wisconsin.
Superior.
Superior,
They
Wisconsin.
definitely need a whorehouse there.
There was
What
well,
place on the map
guess-
really needs a whorehouse?
Well, Al, he was a businessman.
This is true. He knew the clientele.
Yeah,
Right.
That's true.
And he
That's
said
true.
Superior, Wisconsin, there's not a lot of mob up there, and there's a lot of opportunity.
And by opportunity.
Right?
He meant dick.
Exactly. In case.
Yep. She moved there and ran a successful bar/brothel.
Sweet.
Bar on the first floor, bedrooms upstairs for the brothel.
The only way to do it.
The only
Yeah.
way to do
It's
it.
kind of a
Right.
package deal.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's the best of both worlds. If you
One
will.
without
right.
the other. It's just
Right,
not
right.
fun.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
Her lover in Superior, when he died under mysterious circumstances.
Mysterious.
Mysterious.
But the mob was not involved.
It may have been. She really didn't know,
Yeah, you
but
can never
it
know,
was mysterious.
Okay, got it.
All of her money was gone as well. So she's like, maybe it's time to get out of Dodge.
Yep, fair.
So she gets on the train to go back to Chicago. While she's on the train, she struck up a conversation with a passenger, and he suggested she open up shop in Milwaukee.
Oh,
Well, sure.
Sure.
Business advice
Right.
on the train. Yeah.
is she just like
It's a networker. She's a
magnet
networker.
For, yeah, she's a networker, or
Yeah.
just a magnet for people with money? Just an
Yeah.
ideas?
Yeah.
And business
She
sense?
must have been. I don't know.
Wow, I take it.
So she went to Milwaukee
Yeah.
instead of Chicago. She got off at Milwaukee. The next day, bought a house
Yeah,
and opened her business.
sweet.
Um,
No bar in this one, just a brothel.
no, it was a bar and brothel.
There
again.
it is.
Yep.
Okay, just making sure.
At first though, it was just the bar.
Yes.
She wasn't going to do the brothel, but
Okay.
then she had these bedrooms upstairs that were, just
Yeah.
wasted space.
I know,
and,
right?
What am I going to do with
I've
this?
got to expand
Exactly.
my line.
She's
so-
a professional woman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She opened up. She got a couple of women to work that room there.
Work it.
This was during Prohibition though, and she was worried about being raided by the police.
Yeah.
So she turned to her buddy
For multiple reasons.
for multiple reasons. So she for the most part, interestingly enough,
More
she
worried.
More
she
concerned
goes-
about the alcohol?
great story. She walks into Milwaukee police station and tells them that she intends to open a brothel.
Okay.
And who does she need to pay off?
Oh, nice.
And this
comes
is
in
how,
and
That's how you do it?
This
Right,
is
that's
how
what
you
you
do
do.
it. This is how it's done.
I had no
apparently.
idea
You
that
know,
you did it that
The
way.
things you learn on these
Right.
podcasts.
This is great.
Yeah, this is good reference.
I mean, you have to bring your business plan to the correct official.
Right, exactly. And have it
Exactly.
notarized by a couple of Johns.
Yeah. So anyway, the cop said, "Oh, we don't take bribes here.
Lies.
Oh, right.
But apparently they didn't. They would just let, as long as there's no fuss,
They would
just
still
let
let
you
her-
run the business.
There you go. So she didn't have to. Well, then that's saving money.
Yeah, that's good use of the taxpayer dollar.
It is.
So, anyway, she opened the speakeasy.
Yeah.
And then decided to expand, open the brothel.
Yeah.
Anyway, she was worried about being raided. She talked to her buddy Al.
Yes.
Al he goes, I got the guy for you. He sends up an engineer who rigs up a holding tank in the floorboards in the bedroom above the bar.
Yes.
And then sends a pipe down the wall to run the liquor through. It's pretty ingenious.
Katie, why don't we have this in our house?
Right?
I know. And it was hidden by
Yeah.
a outlet switch.
Okay.
So you flip open the outlet switch, and instead of
there's
getting
a
electricity,
spigot.
you get alcohol.
Yeah.
This is the best thing ever.
I
I
like it.
know.
When we
know.
do the hidden,
Yep.
uh,
Hidden library
the
bookcase.
hidden library bookcase,
It better have beer behind
Yeah.
it.
we're gonna have
Dirty Helen style.
Yeah, we're
Yeah,
gonna have the
I
dirty
like
style,
it.
the Dirty Helen style.
I like
spigot.
it. I like it.
That also sounds wrong, by the way. The Dirty Helen spigot.
Oh,
I think we can market that.
But
I think we can market
yes.
that.
Oh, I think so.
Well, anyway, she was notoriously bad with money.
Oh.
And
She was notoriously good at getting it, though.
yeah, she was good at getting it, and then it went. I'm not sure where, but it went.
Right.
Probably
Um,
fashion and hats. I mean, I think
But
The money's in the house.
after a while, she was cash strapped again, so she started seeing clients again, up to 20 a night.
Whoa.
We went.
How strapped for cash was she?
We went from
Or lonely.
We went from high-end call girl
Yeah.
to working at
A
a brothel.
revolving door system.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
While she was there, she fell in love with the 23-year-old bartender and
Really?
married him.
well, I mean, can
Barb
you
and I are both like,
blame her?
you
I
know,
mean,
what
really.
can you do? The
Exactly.
23-year-olds.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, this was her 4th marriage.
Sweet. Yes.
How old was she at this point?
Please say like 68.
No. No,
No,
I don't
I
know.
think she's
I
like
should've
double
looked
his
that
age,
up.
though, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Anyway, she this was her 4th marriage. 3
Okay.
times she married for love.
Yes.
Once
The
for
23-year-old?
Once for revenge. Yes, the
Okay.
23-year was for love.
Oh, we're gonna call it
her
love.
first
Okay.
her first marriage and the 23-year-old were the only ones that were legal.
Oh.
She was legally still
Oh.
married to her first husband when
Oh.
she got married to the other 2.
Okay.
And was her husband dead before the 4th, or did they finally get a divorce?
Oh, that's a very good
They
question.
finally got the divorce.
Okay.
She couldn't really go to Cincinnati and demand the divorce because she still had the son.
Also, she
Yeah.
didn't have a lot of rights as to get a
Right,
divorce
exactly.
in the first place. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. So she
Is that
couldn't.
a picture of her?
Yes.
She looks like my aunt.
That's an
I
older
mean,
picture
she looks
of
like
her.
an
Is she your
older.
aunt?
No, she's
Yeah.
not. But she looks like an aunt.
That's a
Even
picture of her at her Milwaukee
grandma.
bar. It was called the Sunflower Room.
Okay.
That's
Sunflower
That's
Inn.
not at all what I expected, I guess.
Uh-huh. Right.
Anyway, she married her 23-year-old bartender.
Okay. Yeah.
And they honeymooned at the Indy 500. We're bringing it back to the 500.
Oh, look at that.
She continued to run the speakeasy brothel. She later closed the brothel part of the business, but continued the bar and the restaurant.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Art Shires, who was a baseball guy,
Okay.
you know how much I follow sports,
Sports ball.
was of the Brewers, and
Okay.
he loved her place, and he really put her face on the map and put the
Ah.
place on the map. He told everybody and anybody, and
Mm-hmm.
suddenly all kinds of big names were coming into the Sunflower Inn, and it was called the Sunflower Inn because there were sunflowers growing in the front yard.
Oh, sure. Cool.
Aw.
Awesome. Yay.
Here's another story that may or may not be true. She
Okay.
had a fondness for college students. That's true. And she often was helping them financially.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
She hired one down on his luck student to clean her bar.
Uh-huh.
She then convinced him to switch his major from engineering to law.
Oh.
That student was Senator Joe McCarthy.
Oh.
She's responsible for that.
Yep.
I might have said that too loud.
Yep.
Yep. Damn you, Dirty Helen. Right when
Right.
I loved you so
Right?
much.
Yeah.
Why
Did you
did you
really
think-
do us a service?
Oh,
I don't
no.
know.
Karma's a bitch.
Yeah, it probably helped to have him as a friend, though. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, but
true.
I'm sure she certainly wasn't a communist. She was a capitalist.
Right.
Anyway, she closed the Sunflower Inn in 1960, then had some medical issues and passed away in a nursing home in 1969.
Gotcha.
She is buried in Crownlands Cemetery in Noblesville,
Yep.
which is just 2 short blocks from my house.
It is. Yes,
Mhm.
exactly.
I didn't know that's where she was buried. I
Yes.
walked my dog by there this morning.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we're going to have to
Lulu.
go.
Yes,
Yeah.
Lulu is
I
also
went-
buried
I
there as
went
well.
and
Wow.
found her.
Yes.
I found
Mhm.
her. I found her grave, so it was very cool.
Oh,
Very cool.
So what does her grave look like? Is it
It's
understated,
it's-
isn't it?
Yeah, it's just a brick.
Yeah, Lulu's is just a
Oh.
rectangle that
Okay.
just says
It
Misi,
just-
Oh,
and
And
then
we'll put it in the show notes.
Yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it the? Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
much the same as Lulu's.
Very
Yeah.
unremarkable.
Yep.
So-
Mhm. But it's
She's a
Cromwell,
golden
right?
unicorn.
Cromwell.
Cromwell is the last
Cromwell.
name. Okay, there you go.
Right.
Got it.
Right.
Yes. I mean, weirdly, it doesn't say Dirty Helen on her tombstone, does it?
It's very understated.
Weird.
Yeah.
For such a lady that was not understated.
Right. Exactly.
Well, at least she has a stone because
Well,
some of
yes.
the women of history don't even get stones until
It
much
might
later.
have been a
Yeah.
family member
And
who
that's
did
what-
the stone.
Okay, and that's what I was
Yeah.
wondering because she died in Wisconsin, and I'm like, did she want to be brought back to Noblesville? You know what I mean? I was
Yeah.
wondering what that tie was. But family is a very good point.
But
that
it
family's
doesn't
like,
appear she's buried near
Near
her
anybody.
family.
Oh, interesting.
So, I
Maybe
don't
she
know.
bought the property at one point. It's like,
Oh,
it'll be
that could be.
Noblesville. No matter
Yeah.
where I am, it'll end
Yeah.
up being
Maybe she
Noblesville.
bought up the plot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Could
When
be.
in between having money.
Yeah. Yeah. Back to Channing money.
Right around the time of Al Capone. I'm just
Yeah.
in
Exactly.
case my life isn't much longer, I'll be buried in Noblesville.
Exactly. Exactly. All right. Any questions about?
Oh my gosh, so
Famous
many.
What a
Dirty
fun
Helen.
story.
So many questions
I
when I don't think
know.
any of them are actually answerable. You know what I mean? Like, just
I love it.
lovely.
I love it.
Lovely Dirty Helen. But yeah, how did you find the book? Because it was always that worry of how much of it is over-exaggerated,
Yeah,
how much of it is over-exaggerated by her, by the ghostwriter.
Yeah,
Well, not
it's
ghostwriter,
hard
but-
to say. I mean,
Yeah.
some of the stories are pretty fantastic, and you
Yeah.
start going, really?
Right.
But
The
you know,
truth might be
there's
somewhere in there,
Right,
kernel
like-
of, yeah.
yeah, like anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a lot of people left to
Yes.
ask
To
about the
yeah.
veracity of the stories, but yeah, they're good stories. I'll give them
Sounds
that.
amazing.
I know, right?
And so who wrote the book?
Bob Doherty.
And so was he just
He wrote for one of the women's magazines.
okay of the
Okay.
time?
Yeah, it was written in shortly after her death.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So I can't remember what magazine he wrote for,
Women's
but
Day or
Women's
something
Day or
like
something
that.
like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
Exactly.
called Good Time Party Girl, which is how she liked to describe herself.
Good Time Party Girl, the notorious life of Dirty Helen Cromwell, 1886 to 1969.
Yep. There you
The
have
Dirty
it.
Helen comes from swearing. You know what? That was not where my money
That's
was.
not where
Mine
mine was
either.
either.
Mine
right?
either.
I mean, when I hear Dirty Helen town prostitute,
I thought it was a different kind of dirty. Yeah,
did too.
I'll-
Yep, yep.
I'll
her
say that as
Persephone
well.
apes. I figured
Yeah.
it was all in that variety.
Yep.
But you know what? A girl who loves to swear, I'm fucking about it.
That's right. That's right.
It's amazing.
Yes.
I mean, since the day I had her beer at Barley
Uh-huh.
Island,
Yeah.
where Gals Guide used to meet before we actually had a
Right.
place, I always wanted to know more about her. So
Yeah.
Mhm. Now
Thank
we
you.
do. You're so welcome. So
So
welcome.
let me just read one thing from the back cover
the
of the
back cover
book.
is amazing.
Right. Talks about, kind of who she was and who she knew. It's the true life story of a woman who said yes to opportunity and fuck no to society's expectations.
Yes.
Oh, there we go.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
Well-behaved women seldom make history.
There you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
There you have it.
Love it.
Yep.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. No,
Well,
no.
that wraps us up for this week. Join us next week for another cool woman of history as the Gals Guide podcast continues. Thanks for listening.
For show notes, links, and images from this week's show, visit galsguide.org. Want exclusive stuff like deleted bits and major bloopers? Become a Gals Guide patron today. Thanks for listening.